Hey, Nicole here. All right, so ascendants and rising signs. If you've ever heard of somebody ask you what's your rising sign, maybe you haven't. This is unless you're like from the 70s and from Eugene, Oregon, where some of my family's from. Then this might be a new term for you. But in astrology, we're not just looking at the sun sign. We're looking at the entire chart of the sky the moment you were born. So part of that chart is the eastern horizon. And if you were to have looked out from the point you were born out towards the eastern horizon and you had the ability to see the constellations in the far distance, you would be able to see a particular zodiac. You'd understand it was a particular zodiac sign, right? So your rising sign is the zodiac sign that was on the eastern horizon. For example, I'm a Leo rising, okay? I'm a Libra, but I'm a Leo rising. So with a rising sign, it's very interesting to see how the rising shows how we are reborn into situations, okay? The rising is in life through different circumstances when we have had a death and a rebirth, or even something as simple and as literal as walking into a room, how we are perceived by others. Some people, due to their rising, they may have sort of an intimidating presence, but then you get to know them and they're very kind. Or vice versa, they might feel like a sort of a screw-off, but you get to know them and they're shrewd, The rising sign is not who this person is on the inside. It's simply the exterior persona that you're going to perhaps first meet when you meet them. And it's also how they're going to sort of respond in situations that are new to them, okay? Now your rising sign also, since it's on the cusp of your first house, which is your physical body, your personality, your DNA, it's going to affect the way that you look as well. So with the rising, what we do as well, we take the zodiac sign, we look at the ruler of the zodiac sign and we see where that falls in your house, or in which house it falls in your chart. So if you've got, for example, Sun Leo rising, the sun rules Leo, we say, where does her sun fall? My sun falls in the second house, which is the Taurus house. And even though Taurus is the natural zodiac sign of that house, but the accidental ruler for me is Libra. I've got Libra and Virgo in that house. So I'm a Libra with a Taurus kind of feel to me as well. So that gives me very Venusian appearance, okay? And I also have Venus in the first house. So very female, Venusian, I'm vain because it's Leo. I will admit to that. I don't like going out without being like prepared to go out, and etc. So enough about me. What I'd like to talk about, who I would like to talk about, is Donald Trump. He's everywhere right now. We'll see how long this lasts, but currently his persona is all over our television screens and our computer monitors and our devices, our phones and whatnot. So with Donald, I looked up his birth chart, and his birth chart has a AA Rodden rating, meaning it is the gold standard as far as the reliability of the birth time. We've got an actual birth certificate of his that he posted online, so unless he was fraudulent and changed his birth certificate, this should be correct for him. So he is a Leo rising, a 29-degree Leo rising, because as I already said, I'm a Leo rising as well. Leo is the sun, okay? People who have fire as the rising sign or their ascendant will naturally be someone that has, especially Leo, you feel their presence when they come into a room, okay? There's confidence, charisma, boldness. A lot of times they talk loudly, depending on other things in their chart. But for the most part, they're confident, okay? Now, with Trump, his sun falls in the 10th house, which makes perfect sense. So his chart ruler, the planet that rules the zodiac sign that his horizon is in, because all of the zodiac signs, all of the planets, and all of the houses have correspondences with one another, okay? The planet for him is the sun that rules his rising sign. So he is going to approach these situations metaphorically, symbolically, like the sun, with confidence, being seen, assuming he is right. And then you see his sun at the very top of his chart, conjunct Uranus in Gemini. This is his voice. He's going to use his voice. He's going to have a big mouth, a big voice. He's going to state what he thinks. And it's going to be done in a way that's very Capricorn or 10th house, which is cutting. This is what I think. And very good at business. So the way that his mind works is going to be one, he's ambitious, status-oriented, driven to succeed. That is anyone whose sun is in the 10th house. Even if you're a housewife. If you're a housewife and your sun is in the 10th house, you're going to be somebody who has a house that you're very house proud of, okay? This would be someone who, or, for you, there's or it's like the woman that marries, that's the trophy wife. Seriously, I know several women who have their sun in the 10th house, and that's kind of their thing. Like, they might have their own thing going on, but really ultimately they're looking for a man to take care of them, a man that's got his, shit together that can, provide for them. So with Trump, though, when it's a man, it's many times a little bit different. It is status oriented. Now, also, what's interesting is he always puts Trump in capital letters, gold plated on everything, right? Or he has living rooms covered in gold. That's also Leo. That's the sun. That's Leo is gold rules. That's one of the rulerships of Leo. So that he puts that on everything at the top of his chart, metaphorically, it's not any big surprise. Now, other interesting thing is that he's got two co-rulers in that first house of his. He's got both Mercury and Venus, because he's got Venus and Libra there. Those fall in the 11th house for him. The 11th house is the Aquarius house. His Mercury, how he speaks, and his Venus, what he values, conjunct Saturn, which makes him quite conservative in his values, and very much I think that I am right. And they're in Cancer, security driven, which is also the home. It's interesting that he's done real estate, but he is going to say things the way he wants to say them, period. 11th house, there's a selfishness to the 11th house, and I don't mean that with any value judgment, but there's just it's very individualistic. He just doesn't care. He's just going to do it the way he wants to do it. Plus, he's got his moon in Sagittarius down in the 4th house opposite his sun. Sagittarius moon is like really authentic and genuine. So he really does believe what he's saying. He believes that he's right. And he's going to be fiery. And I think he's actually somebody I probably kind of would like in person, even though he kind of drives me crazy on TV. But, just kind of bold and confident. And here's what it is. Here's what I think. Agree with me or not, So anyway, from the rising, we can get a lot of information about a person, about their persona. And because a lot of he's a public figure, his persona is going to be something quite strong, confident, bold, and seen. That's why we have that sun at the top, conjunct Uranus, which also rules entertainment and fame. Not surprising. He's quite an individual person. He's going to do things his own way. And his hair thing, right? This is Leo, which rules the mane and the hair, etc. But it's also Uranus, which is like the crazy, wacky professor. So that his hair is this disaster area, but that he doesn't seem to mind is kind of perfect, too, for his rising. But anyway, that's a quick little read on Donald Trump. If you'd like to have your whole chart read, we can look at all 12 houses. We go through each house and do the same thing for each house. We look at the rulerships, where they land, everything from like your ascendant to your money, how you communicate, your home life, your love life, career, and your spiritual life, your soul path. We look at all of these things in a birth chart reading. It takes about an hour, and it's a lot of fun. So give me an inbox if you're interested, and we will go ahead and do it. And my dogs are being crazy. Okay, thanks. Bye.